Hey, maybe you haven't been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal.
Oh, that's been the theme of the New York Giants 2023 season and a little bit going into this offseason. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Lou LLC. Want to talk about the Daniel Jones anchor of a contract. Want to talk about, is there anything that Schoen can do to get himself onto, you had Fantasy Island, we're going to call it Quarterback Draft Island. And that's kind of what this is about, because little housekeeping. JJ McCarthy has decided to come out for the NFL draft. Cam Ward has decided to go back into school, go back to the transfer portal. I mean, I think JJ probably should have stayed in another season, got a little bit of seasoning. But I keep thinking that maybe if Harbaugh is moving on and maybe even potentially moving into the pros, that he's thinking that he has an opportunity to follow the old ball coach and get into that first round, get into that spot, find into a situation where he can excel. Kind of like what we thought Daniel Jones was going to do years ago. And we do mean years ago. Of course, Shane and Mares and them went out and gave Daniel Jones that wonderful contract, that wonderful boat anchor of a contract, where so many people are like, well, really, it's only a 3-year deal with an out for the team. And I said it from day one. It looked like an albatross. And I said it right off the bat. If he implodes, both statistically or physically, this boat anchor is going to set the team back at least an additional 3 seasons until they can figure out exactly what the quarterback situation is. And if you're going to try to run it back again with Daniel Jones, I understand he's going to come back because of cap implications. It just prohibits you from doing anything else. He's got a $69 million dead cap number. He's got a cap hit of $47 million. He's taken up almost 18% of the cap. And of course, that's really interesting number right now because there's only 36 players under contract. So yeah, he's got a large number, but he is going to be the largest boat anchor on this salary cap for the New York Football Giants. I love how people put it. Well, there's a potential out of the deal. Yeah, it's still almost a $22 million dead cap number. And I always try to explain this to people. So let's say you want to get out from Daniel Jones's contract in 2025. Let's just say you want to do that. And let's say you're going to bring in a quarterback. So whatever you bring in that quarterback at, add $22.2 million onto that quarterback salary. So let's say you draft a rookie and he only makes $9 million a year, or let's make it easy. Let's say he makes it 8. Technically, that quarterback's not making 8; he's making 30, because your quarterback position right now still has a $22 million dead cap number. Let's say you try to bring in someone at $12 million a year, a free agent. Well, it's not really $12 million a year. It's really $34 million a year because you have that $22 million dead cap number. I don't look at all the times when I look at the roster. A lot of times I don't look at it just as the player. I look at the position and I look at the cap space allocated to the position. So you're going to be overpaying for someone in 2025 if you let Daniel Jones go. And you're going to have to let Daniel Jones go. You're just going to have to. It just doesn't make any sense to keep him on this team because he's going to be 27 years old. He'll be 28 in 2025, and we're going to be into year 7 going, well, we still got to kind of figure out what Daniel Jones is. I know what he is. He is a boat anchor of a contract that's weighing this team down. And at any point in time, it's going to help make the roster implode. And if you decide to run it back with Daniel Jones one more time, well, you decide not to go get a quarterback in this draft, you know what's going to happen? You're pushing back your quarterback decision another year. And the quarterback draft in 2025 is not looking as hot as it does right now for this year. So I always go back to the movie Draft Day with Sonny Weaver going out and trying to get the Bo Callahan. Do we keep Bo Callahan? We don't get Bo Callahan. Do we trade those picks? You trade 3 first rounders, get that number 1 all pick, and you decided not to go Bo. And then you turn around and call Seattle.
Come on, Tom, say it with me, you pancake-eating motherfucker.
You make that trade and you get your picks back. But you know what? This is real life. This is the real world. And I always like to say, it's the real world.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Bad things don't just happen during the day. Bad things happen all the time in the NFL football in this world. So the question is this: does Schoen have the mental fortitude to make that trade? Does Schoen understand that maybe moving up into that Chicago Bears pick is going to be the way to rock and roll? I personally think, and the way I've been breaking down looking at this draft, I personally think the Bears, you bring back your head coach. He's a defensive-minded guy, so more than likely you're probably going to run it back with Justin Fields, and you probably should, because if you're going to give Daniel Jones all this cachet in reference to bringing him back repeatedly, Justin Fields has done more to earn it in his 3 years than Daniel Jones is. So I still think they're going to try to move out of that pick. I still think they're going to try to do something, but then I keep thinking to myself, what if they don't move out of that pick? What if they keep it? What if they decide, you know what, we need to get him, we got DJ Moore, we got a couple other guys in Chicago, we need to get another weapon. What if we decide to take Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 1 overall? What, you know, the Bears need offensive linemen. What if they decide to go Joe Alt in that first pick? That's going to push everything down in the draft. I personally still think the Washington Commanders like Drake May. I think he seems to be a Washington guy. So then let's say you're going to go, you're probably going to go Caleb or Drake May at number 2. And then you take a look at New England. I still think New England's definitely going to take a quarterback. And I think whoever is still there, if it's let's say number 2 goes to Caleb and Drake May goes to New England at number 3. You're sitting there at Arizona. Arizona's not taking a quarterback. They're either going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. or Joe Alt, whoever the Bears or whoever doesn't pick. You know the Chargers are probably taking a wide receiver at 5. That leaves Jaden Daniels sitting in your lap at 6. But the question is, do you want Jaden Daniels? There is this talk, there is this rumor, there is this speculation that Caleb Williams is falling down the draft, that people are becoming disenchanted with Caleb Williams. Okay, you know what? Disenchant me all you want. You take a look at what CJ Stroud did. And we talked about this in the live stream yesterday for those that missed it. We, Swing Culture TV, myself, Big L Gigante, we were at the draft party last year, and we actually broadcasted the first round from the Giants locker room. You can go back and watch the live stream. And it was funny because when CJ Stroud went overall, we were pretty much all under in agreement that, you know, that was the right pick. That was, you know, you go back, it's almost like the Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning debates. But I thought you were going to win either way with either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. But we all kind of felt that CJ was probably going to give you that more pro-ready option. Do we ever think it was going to be like this? No, not even close. I did not think he was going to reach this level. I didn't think he was going to take his team to the playoffs, let alone win a playoff game. But we all felt that he could help the team. You know, drafting Will Anderson didn't hurt either. But, you know, the Texans gave you a blueprint. The Texans were a bad team 2 years ago. They gave you a blueprint of getting a high-quality quarterback. Nico Collins is not Jerry Rice. Nico Collins is not this star-studded wide receiver. He's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not. And CJ Stroud basically lost 3 of his top weapons this season. So he was not playing with his full accoutrement, we'll say, of skilled players. So they basically gave you the game plan of how to pick a quality rookie quarterback, give him the training, give him the coaching, give him the offense he needs to build the offense around him, and you can win and succeed within a rookie quarterback's first year. And I always love it because people, you have the venerable Justin Pugh. And like I said, we love Justin Pugh. Justin Pugh was a good Giant when he was here first. And he really he's only endeared himself to the fan base because of that first game. It's Justin Pugh off the couch. So it's a nice little catchy phrase, and that's what makes us endear him to Justin Pugh. But the problem is Justin Pugh was putrid. He gave up 8 sacks. He gave up almost 40 pressures and only 700 snaps. And I think he had also 5 penalties tied in there as well. But he went out and basically said, well, you know, trading up for a quarterback doesn't work. Yeah, it didn't work for that Josh Allen guy. It didn't work for Patrick Mahomes. Didn't work for Lamar Jackson. Didn't work for Eli Manning. Didn't work for Joe Flacco, who also still won a Super Bowl. Wow, didn't even work for Michael Vick. You could trade up for a quarterback and make it work. forever. You know, like you said, yeah, you're going to hit your Mitchell Trubisky's, but Mitchell Trubisky still made the playoffs. I still believe he threw for over 4,000 yards or close to it. But for every Mitchell Trubisky, you're going to hope you hit a Josh Allen. You're going to hope you hit a Patrick Mahomes. You got to do something. You got to do something different. You know, we've said it how many times on the show, you have to be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. But if Joe Schoen sits there and looks at his cap situation and has to have the understanding, right now your only backup quarterback you have is Tommy DeVito. Because you don't know if Tyrod's coming back. You don't know if Tyrod wants to come back. He may, I don't know. Then you're going to have to try to find a quarterback on the market that's going to be comparable to Daniel Jones in reference to his style to make it a little bit easier of a transition between playing your backup quarterback, because you know Daniel Jones might not be ready for the start of the season. Joe, you got to step up. You got to, Joe. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. You got to step up. And making that move, taking this year's first, next year's first, if it's me, and I don't know if the Bears would even be willing to do this, but if it's me, I'm going to give you the 2023 first, 2024 first, and 2025 first. I'm going to give you one of my 2 seconds for this year, and I'm going to give you a 5 and a 7 next year. I don't know. That seems like a pretty good shot for moving up from 6 to number 1. Or if I'm really feeling saucy, no, that's probably what I'm going to do. That's probably what I do, because I still think Jaden Daniels is going to fall down. I still think, like I said, even if you take a quarterback, let's say the Bears do take a quarterback, even you take Caleb. And if you take Caleb, I think the Commanders take May. I don't think it's funny. J.J. McCarthy, in my mind, fits the New England Patriots. So maybe you trade out of that spot. But if I'm New England, hell, I may potentially not even take a quarterback. I may take someone like Marvin Harrison. I might go out and get someone that's a better prospect, and then try to find a quarterback later in the draft. Maybe move back up into the later half of the first round and get someone like J.J. McCarthy. Because this way you can have a weapon in Marvin Harrison, and then may still potentially get your quarterback. And we always forget about Michael Penix. I can't take Michael Penix at 6, but if I have an idea that he's going to be there later in the draft, I may move out of 6. But then I figure, like I said, Arizona's not taking a quarterback because of the Kyler Murray contract. I think they go Joe Alt to basically protect Kyler. You figure the Chargers aren't taking a quarterback, so you figure you're going to have to they're probably going to go wide receiver. And like I said, hell, Jaden Daniels can still be sitting there for you at 6. But do you want to take that chance? Do you want to take the chance at someone like Minnesota, or maybe someone like Atlanta jumps out of 8? Do you want to you want to see if maybe New Orleans stays at 14 or Seattle stays at 16? Because those are going to be your competitions to move up into the draft. But I just think Joe has just got to look at the anchor of this contract he's got right now and just say, listen, I can't get a free agent. I'm not going to get a free agent. I'm still stuck on the hook for $22 million in 2025. Dear Lord, Joe, if you decide to extend Dan Jones' contract or restructure it, I don't know what I'm going to do. I literally do not know what I would do if you did something as stupid as that. Because technically you only have about 38 to 40 million right now with only 30-something players under contract. And you still have the free agents, of course, and Isaiah Simmons, Xavier McKinney, Saquon Barkley, Adoree Jackson. So you're I don't know, are you going to be trying to re-sign some of your players? But no way in hell, if you need additional cap space, should you ever and possibly in any part of your mind think that you should either extend or restructure some of Daniel Jones' contract to give you more cap space in 2024. Please don't. If you did that, there is going to be such a video. The earth will be scorched by the time that video is over. But, Joe, you got to do something different, man. You got to mix it up. Your track record's not that great. I'm talking to you directly, Joe. Your track record's not that great right now in the draft. You got like one big hit and Banks, and you got 2 question marks at 5 and 7 for almost 3 years ago now. Go out and do something different. Go out and give this giant fan base an excitement, because we talked about this before. I do not like the way this roster is currently constructed vis-a-vis talents or the way it's structured cap-wise. And I may not always be right about talent, but I've said it a million times before. I'm always right about the cap. I dare anyone to tell me when I've ever been wrong about the cap. So that's what we got to look at. Joe's got to be bold. Joe's got to look at this anchor of a contract, say, you know what? I'm stuck with Daniel Jones this year. I'm going to bring in my guy. I'm going to bring in Dable's guy. I'm going to build an offense around him. Yeah, I'm going to have to set the mortgage the future a little bit like the Giants did when they gave up all those picks and basically Sean Lights Out Merriman for for Eli Manning. But you know what? We got 2 Super Bowls at the end of that rainbow. And we got a guy that should be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Gonna have a lot of big shows coming up and maybe a live stream during the week. I haven't decided yet. And as always, this is Tim. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell. Do you want to know why? That'd be awesome.